right. Well, we got the tea, so I think it's time for the tea.
Oh. I got you. Wait,
Can we have slurping noises to introduce the tea section? What you looking for? We're recording now.
I was looking for the tea because I was trying to say what kind of tea it was.
You left it upstairs. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Okay, yes, perfect. All right, let's do this thing. Hell yeah.
What you sipping on over there, Cash?
Are we rolling?
We rolling.
Man, listen, we sipping on this organic, which is the brand, by the way. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, it's organic tea. No. This is the everyday detox, and it's the lemon flavor, even though the lemon is very faint, but that's what we sipping on.
Would you like some fresh lemons to go with that?
No, it's not that deep.
Because I've got some lemons in the downstairs fridge. It's a staple in my house as a Greek woman who grew up in the South.
I'm more so just giving my review on this tea. This is good, but they probably don't need to call it lemon. They probably need to call it something else. Mildly flavored with citrus.
It's kind of like LaCroix. It's like just sat next to a lemon. The lemon factory was like next door.
Yeah, exactly.
But like no one worked at both.
There was a lemon within a 200-foot radius when they brewed the tea. But anyway, what's up? We out here. We rolling. Who are you?
My name is Calliope Pettis. Who are you?
Well, my name is Granville, but if you know me, then you call me Cash. And if you really know me, you would call me Lee. Don't do that if you don't know me for real. That would really freak me out. If you were just some stranger and you walked up and you was like, what's up, Lee? I'd be like, who are you? Who sent you?
I can identify with that. When I was a kid, I was embarrassed by my name, Calliope, which is the name my parents gave me, by the way. It's not some airy-fairy name I chose for myself. It's a name I get to grow into for the rest of my life. But when I was a kid, I was embarrassed, and so I asked everyone to call me Callie. And I went through this whole phase of straightening my hair. So everyone in my family calls me Callie still.
Does your people in your family have naturally curly hair?
My mama's side of the family does.
Interesting. Tell them your daddy name.
My dad's name is Hercules.
Tiara, did you know that? No. Oh, we also got my little sister in the building, but she
hey y'all.
she more so just an accessory right now.
She's keeping the energy moving in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, my dad is like 5'6" maximum, weighs 150 pounds. But he is strong in the love in his heart. I got really lucky. The stereotype with Greek dads is that they're very machismo, but my dad is a sweetheart.
You're saying that like I know like what the stereotypical Greek dad is. I don't know no Greek people.
Well, I'm only half Greek, and I feel a little guilty about claiming being Greek sometimes because I don't know enough about my culture. Oh, yeah. I feel like really Greek people are like, whenever I tell them I'm Greek, and I only know how to say like one phrase, which is Efkaristo Yerofeito.
Greek sounds crazy, bro. Greek sounds crazy. I was watching this thing. It's this linguist I watch. He has a channel called The Lang Focus. You got to check him out. He breaks down everything. I became a fan when he broke down AAVE. You don't know what that is, do you?
AAVE.
You don't know what that is, do you?
Oh, it's an acronym. I know that.
You don't know what that is. Anyways, so this man was explaining why Greek sounds like other languages. Because it's such a like old proto-European, ancient archaic language. There's so many languages that have like similar syntax. That's why Portuguese kind of sounds Greek. Russian at times can kind of sound Greek. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Tell these folk where you from so I can hurry up and talk my trash.
Listen.
Because I got lots of trash to talk.
I am from the panhandle of Florida. Panama City to be specific. PC, not the B. All the crazy stuff happened out on Panama City Beach.
Cat.
But I was an in-town kid. Okay? Right. So I'd go out to the beach to get into trouble. Maybe play some putt-putt golf, before the age of getting in trouble.
Right.
And then in town, the only thing there was to do was go to the mall and explore abandoned houses and petty theft and arson.
Florida.
Listen,
hey, yo.
The panhandle of Florida is culturally Alabama.
Hey man, listen to me. When I tell you, the panhandle is by far the what I'm. Oh man. All right. So history time. Florida is a very confusing place. And the reason why it's so confusing even to this day is because what initially happened is you had the Spanish.
Hold up. You moved in your mic.
What?
You moved. Hold on.
What I did?
Tell me why Florida's crazy again. Start at the beginning.
Okay,
You move something and something.
Oh, my bad.
Something.
I might have bumped into the XLR. So essentially, the Spaniards moving into to the area we call Florida, right? So this is like 1700s era. What happens next is a piece of American history that everybody knows, but Americans don't do a good job of understanding the context behind it, right? So, France got into their little revolution. It wasn't a big deal, just a revolution. And so once the Louisiana Purchase happens, America's looking at the Spaniards kind of crazy, like, what are y'all going to do with this land down here? And this is where we have to talk about states, because Alabama became a state in like 1819, I believe. And there was some dispute over the panhandle because the territory had been purchased by the United States, and it was kind of up for grabs because it wasn't considered Florida. You had West Florida and you had East Florida back in the day, and then the panhandle was essentially West Florida, and they were trying to give this area away. They were trying to give it to Alabama. They were like, Alabama, do y'all want this? And Alabama was like, nah, we're good, fam. Georgia, y'all want it? They was like, nah, we good. Mississippi, y'all want it? They was like, nah, we good. Nobody claimed the panhandle. Nobody wanted it. So the fact that you sitting up here trying to put that on Alabama disgusts me. It makes my skin crawl. When I tell you all those Florida memes, all that Florida man stuff, all that comes from the panhandle. Listen to me.
No, it's not. It is
Pensacola,
South Central Florida.
No. Listen, listen. This is what happens.
It's the swamp people.
Bruh, it's all swamp people. It's all swamp. Listen, this is what happened to me the other day. And when I say the other day, this was a couple weeks ago. So me and Tay, we cruising down I-10. We in Pensacola. Beautiful day. We got the windows down. We having a good time. We are on the interstate, my friend. You understand? This woman in Pensacola, Florida tag, okay? She has her phone like 2 inches away from her face. There's traffic, like, heavy traffic on both sides. And I'm trying to merge into the left lane. I can't because this woman won't get off her phone. And so I'm screaming at this lady like, hey, like, let me over, get off your phone. Finally, she does. I get over. This woman in the middle of a busy interstate pulls up next to my car like we're in like a residential neighborhood and starts having a full-blown conversation with me, explaining to me why she didn't get over. She was like, I'm just so sorry. I didn't see you there and blah, 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 blah. And she starts going and telling me about her home life and what she got going on in the middle of the interstate. There's 18-wheelers and all kinds of stuff. That's Florida in a nutshell. I can't tell you how many people think that's perfectly fine. Like, just the way those panhandle Floridians think, they're the problem. All them people down there in South Florida, they ain't even really from Florida. Them folks is from Michigan. They trust fund babies. They some retired military people. They got it together. All them panhandle people is the problem. That's the actual Florida. I'm just saying.
I feel very attacked now.
Don't put that on South Florida, because you ain't doing nothing but talking about people who came here from Cuba and Puerto Rico, and them folks is minding their business. Don't put that on them. It's the panhandle that's the problem.
Let me break this is my response.
Go ahead.
Let me break down Florida for you, because you got some things right.
I got a lot of things right.
You got some things right.
I'm waiting on the breakdown.
Okay, so the Panhandle of Florida from Pensacola or from Floribama, because
I don't even like that phrase. Even the phrase, y'all want to be Alabama so bad.
I understand you're rejecting.
They want to be Alabama so bad, bro. So bad. Man, listen, let me tell you something. I was watching this British YouTuber, and he was talking about how Leonard Skinner is the most popular band from Alabama. They not from Alabama. They from the Panhandle, and all they have to sing about is Alabama. So people just assumes they're from Alabama. No, they're from Florida. But Sweet Home Panhandle don't got a ring to it, does it? I'm just saying.
All right.
Am I being too much of a savage right now, Tierra?
No. This is good for me. So
I get passionate.
Just for the record, this is my second attempt to break down Florida for you.
All right.
Are you ready to listen or not?
I'll shut up. I'm sorry. For the record, I'm sorry.
From Florala, which is halfway in Florida and halfway in Alabama, all the way to Panama City, Florida, you got the ratchet ass. They call it the Party Coast. Pensacola, Destin, 30A. Panama City, all of that, right?
Okay, I'm visualizing the coast here. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Party Coast. And the reason, I'm not going to bring Alabama into it yet. But I do have to say that a lot of people in Alabama do vacation in these areas. So that culture was brought down for me.
That's so foul. Listen, okay.
Hold on. I haven't finished
Go ahead.
dissecting Florida yet.
Go ahead.
Because I know there's a lot of passionate feelings around the panhandle.
Mm-hmm.
I need to break the rest of it down for you.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up.
I got a rebuttal from hell for you.
I grew up on the edge of where the party coast turns into the natural coast or the nature coast.
Okay, what is the nature coast?
So it starts about with Mexico Beach.
Okay, where's that?
Starts with Mexico Beach down to Apalachicola. This is where it starts curving. All the ratchet ass stuff ends in Panama City. You cross over into Tyndall Air Force Base.
Okay.
Then you get on this like rural highway 98.
And that goes south towards the Everglades.
And don't even get to the Everglades yet. Florida's big now.
No, I'm saying, but eventually isn't that where 98 goes?
Yeah. So Mexico Beach, Apalachicola, Port St. Slow, as we like to call it, all the way down into Homosassa Springs, where you meet the manatees. That's the nature coast. It's really beautiful, really secluded, super beautiful. I believe all the way down. I don't know exactly how far. The names of the cities start to get a little muddy for me around that area.
There's a place down there straight up called Kissing Me.
Then you got Tampa. Everything north and south of Tampa. That is what you were saying. The Michigan people, the old people who are from the Midwest, retire all up and down that Gulf Coast of Florida.
Yeah.
And, down into Naples and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now, once you get there, you cut inland. And this is the part where I'm saying Florida man's from. There's a lot of swamps. You got the Everglades. You got all kinds of things.
Have you seen the guy that goes into the swamp and is just like, oh, we got a yoink, and he just pulls up random tropical... Where's he from?
I don't know.
That's your kinfolk.
We'll come back to him.
Okay.
I need a reference video.
All right, okay.
But anywho, cut inland from like Naples, Florida, all of that swampland, and across like the bottom tip where the Gulf of Mexico turns into the Atlantic.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
so that whole underneath side, the whole underneath southwest side of Florida it's almost like an extension of the nature coast. It's just very different nature, a lot more tropical, a lot hotter,
you don't have a lot of
more crazy stuff
down there, right?
And then the Keys and Miami are where, obviously, once again, rich people are vacationing. There's a lot of Spanish influence down there now,
all right.
for sure.
Don't leave them out now.
Miami, we're coming up on the other side of bottom side of Florida now.
Mm-hmm. What's that called?
Miami's a global city. Miami, Fort Lauderdale. That's just where there's a lot
What's
of
that
yachting,
coast called?
a lot of money. Is it called the Cocaine Coast or something?
I've heard Cocaine Coast. I've heard BBL Coast. I've heard.
Oh yeah.
I've heard
There are lots of names, and there are lots of glamorous things in. The more money there is, the more glamour there is, the more superficiality there is, the more plastic surgery there is, the more shit there is, the more beautiful things there. There's just more of everything, especially because it's a global city.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize how, like you were saying, Florida is massive. Like, a lot of people don't understand this, but if you were to drive from, like, the tip of, like, let's say, like, West Pensacola, like, when you first get into Florida, if you were to drive there to the Keys, my guy...
Oh, yeah, 14 hours.
We're talking, 14, 15 hours, easy. But, like, when you're looking at Florida on a map, it doesn't seem...
It's so curvy.
Yeah, Florida thick.
So,
Florida slim thick. Yeah.
We'll get on to the shape of Florida next. We need to complete the circuit here.
Wait, this is you. You talk about your home.
So the rest of that Atlantic coast,
right.
All the way from, I can't pinpoint a city, but when it stops being the party... coast and exorbitant amounts of money are coming up on the Atlantic, that's where a bunch, and all the way up into the Kennedy Space Center, is where all the people from New England and New York and those kinds of places retire. Now, Orlando's a little special. Orlando's like north central Florida, technically. Because when I was in Miami for the first time, I'm like, oh, I'm from northern Florida. They're like, oh, like around Orlando. And I'm like, we're going a little further.
Yeah.
Orlando's like 6 hours. Almost halfway there.
6 hours?
About.
Oh, my God.
Maybe 4. Depends on who's driving. And then you got Gainesville. Gainesville and Tallahassee. I mean, you know how it is. Big cities with a lot of young people, colleges. They tend to be more progressive in general, anyways.
Yeah,
there are cool things happening there.
Gainesville is interesting because there's a lot of like, politically speaking, Gainesville is a very split place because the people that are like born and raised Gainesville, they are very much like conservative, like, you know, Trump country.
Born and raised in Gainesville.
But, you know, that's the Leonard Skinner people, right?
Yeah.
But
did you know Tom Petty was also from Gainesville, Florida?
When I think about his lyrics, it makes sense. It makes sense. Because my guy?
Growing up in Florida provides plenty of opportunities to be inspired.
I'll give you that. Mm-hmm. It might not be the type of inspiration that, you know, your boy here is looking for, but yeah, I'll give you that. Also, people don't understand, Orlando got some gutter hoods, bro. There's some gutter places in Orlando. A lot of people think Orlando is just like Disney World or whatever, but nah, bro. There's some places where you go in Orlando and it's just like Kodak Black clones everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So what else? Did we complete our?
Jacksonville's an interesting.
That's another hood place. It's got some boys. Jacksonville got some hoods, man.
A lot of my friends from Panama City, if they needed like serious or medical procedures that we couldn't provide locally, they'd end up in Jacksonville for periods of time.
Yeah.
And so that's what I always knew Jacksonville as, is like going to visit my friends who are fucking sick.
Yeah.
Or, you know, struggling with something bigger than what our medical industry can handle in Panama City, Florida, or, you know, the medical industry in general. But that's probably a topic for another time.
Different kind of pharmaceuticals. But anyways.
And then northern Florida has a lot of, like, fertile land. There's a lot of farmers and a lot of things, a lot of hurricanes.
No, you lost me at fertile land, bro, because, like,
there's some beautiful groves there.
It doesn't matter how fertile it is if it gets hit with a hurricane every 3 seconds, bro.
Hey, we got tornadoes here. They're just as bad. Hurricanes throw off tornadoes. They just come with a little more flooding. But, you know, if we really want to get into it, Hurricane Michael hit my hometown in 2018. And it was really a beautiful way to witness how much destruction must come before creativity, true creativity, can blossom.
What do you think is more terrifying, hurricanes or tornadoes, personally?
I mean, I'd handle those over forest fires any day.
That's not what I asked you.
I know, but
I think we can all agree that fire is probably a worse way to go. I'm just saying, like, if you had to compare, like,
hurricanes or tornadoes. I mean, it's hard to say. We had both of them where I was growing up.
That's why everybody doing that crazy. That's why they all crazy, because they understand that, hey, all of this is meaningless. It could all just blow away tomorrow. So
bonus time.
Yeah.
Man, I had some fun hurricane days. One day we took a hurricane vacation down to Disney
World.
World.
This woman just said, fun hurricane days. That's what she said. That's what just came out her mouth. Fun hurricane days.
The ditches in my neighborhood would flood, and we'd have like a makeshift swimming pool for a little while until the neighbor came out and fished out like a fucking water moccasin with a rake or some shit.
Ain't nobody in Alabama having fun when the hurricane comes. Ain't nobody in Mississippi nowhere else in the Gulf is having fun. Them Floridians, hurricane, turn up.
We used to have our neighbor would host hurricane parties sometimes to like mark hurricane season. Just any reason to get drunk, really. And it's just like that in the Keys also.
Sure it is.
It's like people, what do they say? People drink and have a fishing problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was wild to be down there.
So yeah, no, is that Florida in a nutshell?
That's Florida in a nutshell. I feel like South Alabama has a lot of the same features.
Stop
no,
it.
I'm serious.
You
Dothan
right
is
now.
Florida.
You overstepping right now.
Okay. I understand how strongly you feel about this.
How about this?
Well, let's rewind a little bit. Okay. So when I was a kid growing up, I heard about this place called Montevallo. And I was like, I'm not going to school in Alabama. Everyone there is a redneck. And then I went to visit, and I was like, oh, wow, this is culturally no different from the kids who go to the high school on the north side of town.
The problem.
Nah.
Yeah. You realize, oh, shit, I'm the problem. Are we cursing? What's the deal?
don't know. We can keep it wholesome. People think we're intelligent if we don't use naughty words.
And that's a shame.
If it's necessary to curse, then like have that power. But casual cursing.
I feel like that we're probably like some minutes in, and that's the first time I said yurdy dirt. But
I don't even know what you're saying, but also on people who drive. I remember driving through Alabama as a kid. My dad would be like, "Oh, of course they're from Alabama. They don't use the turn signal."
Oh wow! I will give them that. People in Alabama don't be using their turn signal. Straight up, I'll give you that. Especially when it comes to merging, like it might as well. Like they shouldn't even sell people in Alabama blinkers. Like it doesn't do any good. They're just useless. Nobody uses them. It's a damn shame.
Tell me about your first trip to Florida.
My first trip to Florida. I gotta think about it. Wow. I mean, for the most part, I did a pretty decent job of avoiding that place. My first trip to Florida. You know, I think my first trip to Florida was Disney. You remember that, Tierra? What was that, like 2012? Yeah. 2013, somewhere like that? Yeah, I mean, you know, regular schmegular. Usual schmusual, like band trip, you know.
I figured.
We were the marching band group, and
were y'all going to competition?
No, we was just out there. Well, did we do anything?
No vacation.
Yeah, we were just on vacation basically.
So
Did your school
go every year?
No, hell, we from poverty. Scottsboro's like median annual income is like $28,000. Yeah, we was slinging them cookies so hard to go to Florida, bro. We was out knocking on everybody's doors, bro. You would have thought we was moving dope for real. I'm so serious. And I still got one.
That's where you got your hustle.
Yeah, I guess. I still had one neighbor that didn't pay up, and I'm still mad at that person today.
You gotta forgive them. We should bake them some cookies.
I should knock on their door and be like, "Where are my $22?" Crandall.
I'm sorry, Crandall did that to you.
I think it was Crandall. I don't even remember who it was.
Man. I got an uncle named Randall, but Crandall?
No. See,
like Cranberry
we be doing
Randall.
That.
I'm thinking about cranberries and Randall.
That's
from a cranberry tree.
I got a sister named Lamanda, and I got a brother named Christopher. But hey, hold on, focus.
Yeah, and what's your legal name?
Granville. But listen.
What's your legal middle name? Is that too much information?
Low key. we gotta. Yeah, if you want to know, you gotta come back for more. But listen, so I had some homies that were like man, they were out there. I'm gonna just go ahead and say their name. Shout out to the Farrington family, man. Loved them to death, but they were some problem children, right? They were always up to no good. And so like the head Farrington, I ain't gonna say his name. He got this scheme together, and bro, listen. So they were running around hitting licks on all the gift shops at Universal and Disney. This is how smart they were. They gave us a pass, right? That we could get in Universal, we could get in Disney, we could get in all the different parks with like this pass, right? These kids were so smart. They figured out that they could go to whatever park way before everybody else did. So while everybody else was at Universal or whatever, they on the other side of the park going to God knows where. And they're hitting all these licks on all these gift shops. And I'm talking they're getting hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. And on the last day, they got caught. On the last day. And it was a big deal. Like, the oldest one was 18, so he had to go to jail in Orlando, bro.
Whoa.
It's crazy. Anyways, that was my first trip to Florida.
Well, I got a Florida petty theft story. I mean, petty theft. How many dollars of merchandise were they taking?
Oh, it was like 4 of them all together. They had a scheme. Like they would get the girl to go up and like distract the cashier, and they would boost it. It was crazy. They probably had about $500-600 worth of stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah, stuffed in the little drawstring bags like every day. It was crazy.
Man.
But hey, listen, the Disney Universal police, them folk don't play. They are out here.
You know who else don't play?
Who's that?
The Panama City Mall cops.
Oh, I bet. They even sound like serious business. Oh my God. But no, by all means, continue. What were you saying?
So, all right. The first time I was peer pressured to steal, and that's not fair. I'm not taking ownership of my decisions.
That's that. But like the way you're so casual about it, that's not a thing in Alabama. See, the panhandle. Here's the difference. The panhandle ain't in the Bible Belt. It's just not. all the moralities that you inherit from being in that don't exist in the Panhandle. It's gone.
Okay, fair enough.
Y'all too busy wrestling alligators.
Well, it's like that's what happened in Florida stays in Florida. You know what I mean? I'm sure you heard people saying that growing up.
No.
It's like a little Las Vegas.
Yeah. It's a bigger Las Vegas
with the one-legged strippers.
Oh man!
Listen, there's a place down the road.
Would you say one-legged strippers? I bet they oddly enough probably get requested the most.
Listen. Okay, so there was a place in my neighborhood growing up called Tan Fanny's. It was like the eyesore of the whole neighborhood. It was like the thing holding my part of town from Fanny's? Like growing up. Yeah. And I thought it was a tanning bed, like my whole life growing up, because one of my big sisters took me to a tanning bed once. No. It said Tan Fanny's topless, and I'd seen my sister take her like top off at the tanning bed when I was like running errands with her one day. So I was like, okay, it's a topless tanning bed.
That's so sad.
It's so innocent, so sweet. Like that's exactly what Hercules would have wanted me to think it was.
See, and once again, that's kind of part of the problem. But I digress. Hey, how about this? How about you ask me where I'm from?
Where are you from, Ken?
I'm so glad you asked. I
got carried away on Florida because you were talking so much shit. I felt like I needed to do a lot of work to inform and revitalize. And
no. You got back into a corner and you felt some type of way. Tell these folks the truth. But no, listen. And listen.
I was being inconsiderate in our conversation.
In all actuality, I really do have a lot of love for Florida. I really do. Like, Pensacola's growing on me.
I know the tension's all part of what makes this podcast so great.
Yeah. Pensacola's growing on me. I also got Orlando got a special place in my heart. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? There's a lot of special places and music festivals in that lower Georgia, lower Alabama part of Florida. Mm-hmm. Anywho, where are you from, sir?
I'm from a little town called Scottsboro, Alabama. It's about 45 minutes away from Huntsville, 30-ish if you're in a hurry. It's about an hour and away, probably about 50-something minutes away from Chattanooga. A little less if you're in a hurry. And I feel like Scottsboro is a very unique place because there are kids who go to school in Scottsboro who their parents, own property. They got boat houses, just generational wealth. And then they go to public school and they sit down next to a kid whose, mom is a alcoholic, drug addicted, prostitute. Their daddy is stealing copper wire, and catalytic converters, and they're just all expected to just, all right, just all go to school, get your education. Like it's the only, like Scottsboro, that whole region really, when you think about it, like the inequality is crazy. It's just wild. But I grew up in a little neighborhood called The Hill. It's across them there tracks. You know what I'm saying? And my neighborhood always got just the worst reputation just because it's where all the black folks were from. But like dude, I didn't know I was from the quote unquote bad side of town until them folks was telling me. I was like in middle school. I was like, oh, I live on the bad side of town? I thought that the K&K trailer park was the bad side of town. I thought over there by the hospital was the bad side of town. I thought High Chaparral was the bad side of town. But no. Anyways, I digress. Beautiful, man. Northeast Alabama. Mm-hmm. It's where the Appalachian Mountains start to, get a little high in elevation and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Technically, I grew up in a holler. That's the geographical term for it, if you really wanted to get nitty gritty about it. But black folk don't really got that in their.
Is it a geographical term?
Yeah, a holler.
Truly?
A holler is when you have. It's essentially a mini valley that dead ends at a mountain. Essentially, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And the entire neighborhood that I grew up in is essentially in a holler.
So it's almost on the ridge line between mountain lands and grassy plains.
Exactly that. And you can't go any further north. And once you hit and that's another thing. Scottsboro is laid out very much so. In the thought process of like Jim Crow segregation, the way it's laid out, it's like you got the train tracks. It's like, okay, we put the poor people and the black people over here, and then
it's like that in Florida too.
Yeah, but it's
and in Birmingham.
Birmingham actually is a whole other story, because it used to be, but Birmingham now is a whole nother thing. We might have to save that for a different episode. I don't know, because that's a lot.
I mean, we went around the perimeter of Florida.
Well, hold on. I was going to break down Alabama.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. That's what I'm saying is. Why not get into it?
So growing up in Scottsboro, you got if you got something to do, you can either go to Huntsville or you can go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Tiara, am I messing something? Yeah, no. Whatever it is you need to do, that's where you got to go to do it because you ain't getting it done in Scottsboro because there ain't nothing there. Now, so Northeast Alabama, like I said, very mountainous. There's some beautiful trails, especially up towards Lookout. A lot of people don't understand the vast majority of Lookout Mountain is actually in Alabama. So going up towards the Fort Payne area, you got Mentone, that whole little corner of Alabama, just beautiful, mountainous. And then as you go west, you bump into Huntsville. I'm doing North Alabama first. I'm going to do it like
of course, this is your
chunk.
region.
So yeah, you got Huntsville.
65, 72.
72. Yeah, 72 and 79. I'm going to get to 79, but Huntsville's cool. It's weird watching it grow from like when I was a youngin'. I remember Huntsville was way smaller. It's interesting to see it grow up so much in my lifetime. I can relate to my parents whenever they're like, "Oh, I remember when this used to be a field." It's like, yeah, I feel that.
I feel that with Panama City for sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of growth down there.
Every place grows.
No, it don't. Not Scottsboro.
Okay, fair. What?
Listen, my little sister over here talking about what? Listen, Scottsboro's not growing. They just building stuff. They got some old money that they saved up. You know what I'm saying? So they want to build a Starbucks to give the illusion that, like, oh, look at us.
We're
like
coming up in the world. Corporate America's in our town. No. Okay, but Scottsboro does have a very fine relic as far as
talking about Unclaimed?
Yep.
So basically, if you lose something at an airport, bus station, train station, whatever the case may be, and it doesn't get claimed up into, let's see, I think it's I actually don't want to speak on the duration because I think they finessing stuff they won't. But anyway, it all goes to Scottsboro, Alabama at this processing center that is essentially a giant thrift store where they sell people's lost stuff, and it's called Unclaimed Baggage. It's where I got these boots from.
Man, give those boots a tap closer to the mic. That was satisfying.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah. Some Unclaimed Baggage boots. But I'm trying to think. There's really not a whole lot else.
When did Unclaimed Baggage come to Scottsboro? Like, had you been born already, or has it been there your whole life?
I can't remember Scottsboro without Unclaimed Baggage. Nobody in my generation can remember it. That was like Scottsboro's claim to fame.
What about your brothers, your older brothers?
They're like 87 years old, bro.
I know. See, me and you both have older siblings, so we hear the stories of how things were before we came along.
I don't know, because I remember being like a child and being like, oh, Oprah Winfrey came to Unclaimed Baggage and blah, blah, blah. So like, I don't know. Listen, when you walk in, they have a map of, people put like pins, like these itty bitty pins on, places from where they're from. It's the whole world is basically covered, bro. Like there's people that have been. You're not gonna believe this, but Unclaimed Baggage actually has a big ski sale. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Alabama, but there ain't really a whole lot of places to go skiing here. However, all the ski gear that gets lost in the whole world, it goes to Unclaimed Baggage. So you got folks from Colorado and out up from the northern regions. You also got some Canadians that come down. You even got some people that go overseas. Like I'm looking at Norway and Finland and Sweden, and them places got pins on them. So yeah, you see some interesting stuff.
Do you think anyone's ever been reunited with something that they lost at Unclaimed Baggage and demanded?
I see. I was like, she don't even know what she asking. Our auntie, my aunt Bess Finette, rest her soul, in the 80s, I think it was, she had a jacket that she had her initials sewn into the back of. Okay, and she did it. She the one that did it, so she knows it was hers. She lost it at LAX because she had moved out to LA, and she came back to Scottsboro to visit. I want to say like 2 or 3 years later. Went to Unclaimed Baggage, bought her jacket back.
I'm surprised you didn't demand it back.
I am too, because my aunt was low key crazy. That's not. Hey, hold on. I got distracted. Okay,
yeah, let's get back on Alabama.
You got Huntsville, which, it's Huntsville. We got a lot of love for Huntsville. Once you go past Huntsville, it's a whole lot of nothing until you get to the Shoals, which the Shoals isn't necessarily geographically the most beautiful place, but there's a lot of rich history there, especially if you're into music. You got Fame Studios. Of course, UNA is a big factor in drawing people out there. It's kind of like a little mini metropolis
That
out there.
river is so beautiful. That particular bend in the river
In the Tennessee where it
there's
crosses.
so much magic in those places.
Absolutely.
I understand why such incredible music has been birthed. Has been chosen to be birthed into this reality through.
I'm glad you said
whatever vortex of energy is there. It's special.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I didn't know where you were going there. You had me in the first half. I thought you were going to be like, oh, I definitely understand why my ancestors stole this land from these folks.
Man.
that's where my mind went, but whatever. Forgive me. But no, so you got Florence, the Shoals, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, and all that is essentially one big city. One big metropolis, mini-mopolis.
That area has been relatively safe from tornadoes. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's weird now that you put it in context like that because I don't.
But the area surrounding it has been.
It gets hit hard. Yeah, that's especially because that's odd because it's very flat out there. There's not any.
It's like Tennessee, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Up in that part of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to spend more time there.
Flat. The hills don't really exist when you get that far out west. Anyways, so moving down to the next little region. Mm-hmm. This is like the mid-central area. This includes everything from Montgomery to Birmingham. Now Birmingham. Wait, hold on. I forgot about Gadsden and Anniston. Listen, there ain't much.
And Gunnersville.
What Gunnersville got to do with anything?
I don't know. Whenever you were speaking about all the kids going to the same school, I was thinking that the wealthier kids would have had lake houses in Gunnersville.
Man, listen, I don't think Gunnersville is a real place.
Okay, I feel like that is a loaded comment, and we will return to that at some point.
Yeah.
Back to Birmingham, Montgomery.
I'm gonna make it make sense. But anyway, so hold on.
The heart of Alabama.
I just wanted to say like Gadsden and Anniston. That's still the 256. That's still my area code, so I can't leave them out. Mm-hmm. Hey, bro, it go down over there. If you don't know nobody over there, man, make sure you're on your P's and Q's. Lock your doors. That's all I gotta say. I love Gadsden and Anniston so much, man. But good Lord. So Birmingham is very important because it's where like 5 different interstates cross. I could rant about Birmingham for hours. I'm going to move on because
Birmingham is special. Birmingham is, yeah.
I've got a complicated relationship with Birmingham.
You got to.
Yeah, but
it's the tension that makes it real.
Yeah, it used to be the biggest city in Alabama, but
it was competing with Atlanta for a while.
I don't know about that.
Like back in before our time.
Yeah. Of course, I'm sure it was, but Birmingham has a lot of issues. Let's move on. Let's get down to what else is in that little area. Now, when you go east and west.
Man, hold on. You ain't said nothing about Montgomery specifically.
I'm not to the gump yet.
Okay,
I'm going down from north to south. Okay, so when you go east and west, there's not a lot. There's not a lot out there, man.
There's like Jemison and some lakes and some farms.
So, of course, you got Auburn and Tuscaloosa. They both sit, Tuscaloosa is basically like a skip away from Birmingham going west.
Roll Tide. For anyone who doesn't know, that is quintessential verbiage in Alabama that originated in Tuscaloosa from their big Roll Tide school.
And then their rival, of course, is the War Eagle. Over there in Auburn at the end of Highway 280 going towards Georgia. Now, I spent a lot of time in Auburn because once upon a time, I had somebody that I was dating that lived over there, and I spent a lot of time over there. I don't care for it. I don't like it. I don't like Highway 280. It's a miserable drive.
Man, it's
I don't
beautiful.
I don't like the culture of
Auburn.
Auburn.
Going through Inverness and into Chelsea, that's like one of my favorite stretches of road.
That is clan land. You can have all that, bro. You can have all that. You
know what road's more beautiful? The road that crosses over the Tennessee whenever you're driving from Scottsboro to Fort Payne. Is that 30?
Yeah. Highway 35.
God,
and it's interesting you say that because, like, as somebody that's grown up in Scottsboro, Tiara can probably relate to this a lot. We take it for granted a lot, and then it's like we'll have somebody in the car with us, and they're freaking out, and we're just like, "What is wrong with you?" Because we see it all the time.
And we know the old one.
Oh yeah, Scottsboro raised a bunch of hell about the old bridge that they tore down over that river.
Oh, was it one of those ones that had all the geometric shape dome thing? See,
bridge.
We had one of those when I was a kid. It was called the Hathaway Bridge, and now it's just like a big, ugly modern interstate. It's beautiful. They put nice lights on it, but I remember being a kid and just like being so amazed at going under like the cage that preserves the structure of the bridge, and
I don't think you understand.
And the different sound that it made whenever you drove over it.
Very unique. Yeah. Yeah. Scottsboro people were pissed about that bridge. Like, for months. You go to Hardee's early in the morning, just like, I can't believe I turned the damn bridge down. There wasn't no reason for that. We didn't even. Now my granddaddy, he the one that put the first, like, just for months, you know, just outrage. But they're finally kind of cool about it. They've accepted it. I think some rich billionaire bought the bridge.
You gotta accept it. You gotta accept it.
Yeah, I think it's in Japan now. Somebody told me that.
What?
Somebody told me that some rich billionaire bought the bridge.
I would love a picture of this.
Yeah, B.B. Comer Bridge.
B.B. Comer?
Yeah.
I would love to go see it in Japan.
That's what I heard. It could just be cap, because I'm trying to figure out, did they break the bridge down into pieces and ship it? Like, how did that work? Anyways, I digress. Okay, now we to the gump, right? Man, listen, the capital, right? There's a lot of history in Montgomery that's being held on to, and that's fine.
You right.
But I think they go about it in the wrong way. You know, you got the Museum of the Confederacy, blah 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 down there. You got, I think that's where your boy Jeff Davis was kicking it at. I feel like Montgomery is the heart of like those southern stubborn people that's just like, oh, we won the
There's
Civil
a lot
War.
of southern pain. There's a lot of southern pain holding on, like with its claws in that land.
Yes.
The land wants to heal, but it's the humans who leave with the attitude of an intention of hurt and you know, shame.
That's a good way
guilt
of putting it. I like that. The southern, what'd you call it?
pain.
Southern pain, man.
That's the heart of the pain.
Yeah, they don't want to let go because I feel like, you know, there's just a lot of miseducation that happened. And I think that was kind of the root of it.
Well, also on the outskirts of Montgomery, just some really painful things happened out at Mount Meigs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there's some dude, the history of Alabama
and
is
Selma.
crazy.
I kind of lump in Selma with that Montgomery like region just for what it's seen and things that have taken place there.
Yeah, I feel like they teach us Alabama history in 4th grade for a reason, because if they were to teach us the adult version of it, we'd be like, what? Yeah, but a lot of painful history in Montgomery. Also a lot of just, man, Montgomery got some hoods, boy. I'm trying to tell you.
It's got some music too.
I can't speak on that. I can only speak on the hood, man. Don't go down to Montgomery playing no games. Them people gonna slap you upside the head and take what you got. That's all I'm gonna say. Got a lot of love for Montgomery. I want no problem with them people.
Got the Shakespeare Festival down there. Those are some beautiful grounds.
See, I don't know.
People from all over the world have come there because they're Shakespeare enthusiasts.
See, I don't know these things. I only know about the
bad parts.
The places where
you take Taylor Road or 231 when you're going through Montgomery.
So that's a complicated question. I got familiar with Montgomery whenever I was always going to Auburn, but I hated 280 so much. I'd rather take 65 through Montgomery.
Is that 65 to 85? No.
65 to 285. Or is it either 85 or 285?
It's probably 285.
I think it's 85.
85 runs through Atlanta. You're following signs toward 85.
Yeah, one of them. Either way, I'd rather just 65 and then get on that interstate from Montgomery and go to Auburn that way. That's just what I always did. So that's kind of how I got familiar with Montgomery. So 231, I think I've only driven that way through Montgomery once. Montgomery, man, hell of a place.
Wetumpka.
You got some casino down there. You got a native casino down there that I think is owned by the Creek folk. You go down there to have a good time.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it's like redneck Vegas, you know.
Man, casinos are so sad.
I don't know nothing about them. I've never been.
Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go one day just to see what the deal is, but I ain't never been to no casino.
I've been to one in Reno. That's the nicest one I've been to.
I imagine it'd probably be really nice.
The ones in Florida and Alabama are like weird.
Well, yeah, because technically
are extra weird.
They got all kind of like loopholes.
I mean, they had all kinds of weird things for sure at the one in Reno. It's just the people are so sad. It's like, how can you be in a place that's so like bright and stimulating and upbeat, and then just no life in their eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember being at the casino in Reno, and I heard someone singing. I was like, oh, hell yeah, there's karaoke. Like, I'm going to do that while my friends played blackjack. And I walk over there, and it's the house band.
Whoa.
And I'm like, oof, yikes.
Whoa.
Casinos pay good money now.
I don't know. They better. They sitting on it. I'm just saying. But, okay, hold on. Now, we're getting to the depressing part of Alabama.
More depressing than Montgomery?
Yeah, Montgomery is like
Are we talking like
Sunday school compared to okay, everything in between, like that as far as, you know, north to south goes. Anything in between Montgomery and the Gulf, there's nothing. It's just grass.
it's not very fertile land either.
Nothing, bro. The map. You ever
A lot
be
of
playing a video
pecan
game
trees.
and it's like the map won't load?
Yeah,
That's South Alabama
fair enough.
in a nutshell.
See, and that's the part of Alabama that's a lot like Florida. That's all I'm saying.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because the people there still have enough sense not to, like, you don't hear those people having the same reputation as Florida man. Because those people still got sense. They just live in a field, but they got sense.
Man, I don't know. I remember some really strong things happening.
Don't put that on my people, man.
Okay.
Don't put that on my people.
We're talking like Enterprise, Dothan,
Ain't nothing over there.
Op, Andalusia.
Oh yeah, it tripped me out. First time I got a call, it said from Alabama. I said, I am not answering this. Hell no.
They're like, I believe they have a like rattlesnake festival down there every year. It's pretty big.
Leave them people alone.
I don't have a problem with snakes.
You're making this very difficult.
They probably got hog festivals too. Hog festivals and snake festivals.
Okay, well that was started from some people from Jacksonville. Don't put that on my people, man.
Well, they let them in.
There's just not a whole lot in that little region. You got, like you said, you got Enterprise, Dothan. Selma got a lot of rich history. Very, very.
Gee's Bend.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about another bend in the river that's just.
Oh, there's some water down there past Wetumpka that's gorgeous. I can't remember it.
There's also like one of the largest sites, like gorges, where like a meteorite hit or some shit like that
I heard
in
about
Wetumpka.
That. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never. Only reason I know about that area is because one of my friends, his kinfolk live over there. A little place called Slap Out.
I know Slap Out.
Yeah, shout out my boy Adam. Him and his family, him and his dad. But nah, man. So long story short. Once you get down to the Gulf, Alabama turns into this subculture of they're kind of like an extension of the Cajun Creole culture in a way, but they're still very much so Alabama. So
fair enough. Yeah, but you're talking about Mobile.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know Mobile is where Mardi Gras started. It didn't start over there in NOLA.
There's so many beautiful cultural similarities and differences between NOLA and Mobile and Northern Florida. Okay, look, we're bringing 3 states into it. Listen, just hold on. Just all I have to say is the Spanish moss.
You can have that.
Continue.
That's not what I'm mad at. No, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I just wanted to, make sure
You're forgetting about all your people who live on the border of Florida and Alabama.
Why did you have to throw out the fact that they live on the border of Florida and Alabama? Why couldn't you just be like they live in Alabama and they live in the Gulf? See, you're trying so hard.
That's not the Gulf. It's not the Gulf.
That is the Gulf. Foley, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Foley's interesting. I think it's beautiful.
I got a lot of love for what county is it? Baldwin County. But man, there's some places in Baldwin County that just make my skin crawl. Just because I feel so out of place. What's that place? That Snooty place? What is that place? Fairhope. Oh my God, Fairhope just makes my skin crawl. Because I feel like every time I'm there, I'm just like I don't belong here.
It's funny that you mentioned that because the guy back in the Montevallo days, which we'll get to in our next episode.
I'm sure we will.
We wrote a song called "I Love Some Hairy Legs," and we went down there for like a Mother's Day, Memorial Day celebration. So I was just thinking about that place actually because it's a year from now or several years to this date because it's fucking Memorial Day weekend right now. So yeah, that's the first place I met all of his family.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I do have some weird Fairhope vibes. No, it was like a let's all go on a destination vacation, get a beach house for the whole family.
I was down there a couple of weeks ago, and it was me, Tay, and Drex, and we went to this restaurant on their little strip, and it was so funny. We were taking Tay out for her birthday, and so we were splitting the bill, and oh my god, we tore it up. We had a whole bunch of food. It was like. I don't remember how much. It was a couple hundred, maybe not that much. I can't remember. It was
tasty though.
Yeah, it was a bougie place, and we were going all out. We got dessert, appetizers, you name it, drinks, whatever. And so when it came time to pay, I had my card. Drex had her card. Her card wasn't turned on or activated or declined for whatever reason. Mine went through. Oh, buddy came back to the table, and he just knew without a shadow of a doubt it was my card that declined. And he was like, "Sir, I'm so sorry," but blah, 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 blah. I was like, "Nah, man, it's good." And he was like, "No, sir, it declined." And I was like, "No, it did it. It was just so funny." He didn't really argue with me like that, but you could tell the energy was there. I just thought that was funny. I got a kick out of it. If I was younger, I probably would have been mad. But now that I'm older and I laugh at stuff like that, it cracked me up a little bit.
You gotta laugh.
But that's Fairhope energy. You know what I'm saying? In a nutshell, they're real like skittish about how they.
Wait, was it your card or Drex's card that got?
It was
denied?
Drex's card that got declined.
But he came up talking about it being your card.
Yes.
And you explained to him like that's not my card.
Yes.
That's her card.
Yes. Dang. And he was just in shock, like what? Hers can't decline. Impossible.
This reminds me of some like Black Mirror episode where like whatever currency we gained is based on whatever social stereotypes that we have or yada yada.
Oh, that's fire. Yeah. I haven't seen that episode.
Man.
Yeah, me and Tay are working our way through. We might have seen that episode. We binged.
Everything was pastel. Everything was pastel in that episode.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite Black Mirror episode?
The first one I saw was like I want to call it the Hannah Montana one, but it was the Miley Cyrus was acting in it.
Fire.
Yeah, that one was
that
really
was
good.
a whole movie.
That was the first one I saw.
They really cram whole movie concepts into like an hour and some change. It's crazy.
It's so good. There's some that I won't watch, like the ones that take place in rural areas, because you know me, I like to be out in rural areas planting trees and doing wholesome things, and I don't want to have like that seed of fear planted in my mind.
I can understand that.
Not saying that I haven't been on land where some crazy spooky stuff happened, but that's besides. It's not even crazy spooky. It's just.
Hold up! Ask me my favorite episode of Black Mirror.
What's your favorite episode?
We gotta work on this reciprocity thing, man, because I be feeling heavily left out. But no, man, it's the one.
Yeah, but you always talk, so.
Don't hold on. It's the. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of the episode.
What's it about?
It's about the Indian lady.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that.
Who's just minding her business, and then the demon comes and makes her like start murdering people.
Wow.
I can't think of the name.
I haven't seen that one, but that sounds like one
crazy.
I don't want to watch by myself.
No. The demon is hilarious. He's like the demon is actually
he's got a good sense of humor.
Relief. Yes. Amazing. That's what's funny about it. Like the demon is the comedy in the whole thing.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
He's this cool black guy from the 70s. He's dressed in like this disco get up. It's hilarious. But he's just like in London, and he's trying to tell this lady like, hey, listen, you have to kill 3 people, or else the world is going to end. Like that's the deal. And it was actually a very good combination of like comedy, but also like a very interesting way to present the idea of morality. Because it's like, think about it, you got to kill 3 people, but how many people are you saving? I love the idea of that balance and that push and pull. But lots of good episodes of Black Mirror. Now I reckon we need to talk about Montevallo now.
I reckon it's time to wrap it up.
Is it time to wrap it up?
We gotta go to our. Do you know what time it is? We gotta head to our gig in like 20 minutes.
You ain't lying. It is about that time.
I feel like this would be an excellent place to play. I'm gonna tell them a little bit about the songs that are gonna accompany the sections of the show.
Hold that thought. Della just texted me, I need $400 ish for a vending machine for Soul Carnival.
That's pretty dope.
I'm so confused. I'm sorry. What are we on right now?
It's all good. Our attention span. I don't even know how long we've been recording, but I think we got a lot of great things to work with.
Yeah.
And
chop it up like judo.
Chop it up like judo.
I ain't really got like no cool tag or nothing to say to end this thing.
Y'all should have a sound to play.
We're gonna have a sound to play.
Yeah, I don't. I was thinking about, cool little intro things.
Well, haven't I?
What it is, what it was, what it shall be. It's your main book. No, I'm just playing.
No, most definitely music. I think, no, you're right. We should talk a little bit about Montevallo. We talked about where I was from. We talked about where you were from. We talked about our favorite Black Mirror episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to tell them how we met and why we're sitting in a basement in Huntsville recording this podcast episode.
Calling this a basement is a mad stretch, but I'll let you have it.
I like to downplay how nice it is.
Yeah.
I don't like to flaunt.
Pinky out. So... Yeah, nah. How did I end up in Montevallo?
We met at Montevallo. We were both studying music at the University of Montevallo, home of unconventional wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I first met you, you was riding around on a bicycle. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna say what you was doing because you was up to no good on that bicycle, but you was riding around on a bicycle. And Montevallo is a very small school, and so even smaller departments and. Montevallo is one of those places that's very cliquey and cutthroat, I feel like. And I didn't really rock with that energy.
Well, amongst the arts, for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're most people's, if you're an education major, that's one thing. But if you're a performance major, it's like, I'm going to be competing for this role, this spot, this whatever, forever. And the pressure to be the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the most intellectual is what is taught there in the department we were both in, rather than, like, I guess you can't really teach artistry. You go to school to learn skills, and I can appreciate that. And, all I got to say is there's a lot of unlearning I had to do after I graduated from studying classical voice, because people who knew me growing up were like, studying classical music took something away from you.
We got to put a check mark in that for sure, because I definitely want to expand on that. But yeah, just that energy in Montevallo kind of pushed me away, and I was very reclusive. I didn't really talk to a lot of people. Everybody just seemed very fake to me. Everybody seemed very like they had this filter about them, and it's like I would see it in real time. It's like I would see people smile in people's face, and then it's like, you leave the practice room 30 minutes later and they're gossiping about the people that they were just being nice, stuff like that. And it's like, I didn't really talk to a whole lot of people, but the people that I did meet and the people that I did, gravitate towards, like, we're all, locked in, lifelong, hopefully friends, you know what I'm saying? Not a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends the whole time I was there. I was a deadbeat purple. I didn't do the whole purple gold thing.
I was about to say the college night competition aspect of it, I feel like, was an enormous part of the school's culture that extended beyond those 2 months in the winter, January, February.
Yeah, it puts the cult in culture for sure. You know what I'm talking about?
We got to tell them about college night briefly. You want to try summing that up?
I think it'd be funnier if we actually would sum it up very terribly. So
we got the purple side, which is the peace sign, and you got the gold side, which is the thumbs up. Purple side is like family, they said. And they said. Gold side is like a country club, so they said.
Yeah, I like that. So basically the two sides, they compete in competitive theater. I know this sounds made up. This sounds crazy. They don't have football at this school. They have competitive theater, and that's what they do. Everybody's competing to see who can make the best play. Once again, this sounds made up, but man, when I tell you they take it serious, oh my God.
The script, the lyrics, the music, the orchestration, the set building, the costumes, everything is built by the students. In 2 months.
And nobody is getting paid to do any of this, by the way. That's where it gets a little culty for me. But, I lost interest in college night whenever they were like, so here's all the guitar music and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. And here's the rehearsal. And I was like, all right, bet. So are y'all going to mail me a check, or is it? And they were like, no, we're not paying the music. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, you don't get paid for this. And I was like, peace. And I was good. And it's not because I'm on some like superficial type of time where everything's about the money. But like at the time, I was struggling so hard to survive. I could not afford to just
It's an
go down there.
enormous investment.
Yeah.
I did it my freshman and my sophomore year because I was living on campus and being fed on campus, and like, you know, it was pretty easy to stay up super late, you know, 7 nights a week rehearsing for the play. But then my junior year, I had to step back because I was like, okay, I'm like, you know, I'm renting a house now. I'm working some jobs now.
See, and that's another big part of Montevallo. Like, by the time I showed up, I was already pretty much grown. Like, I'm working 30, 40 hours and, you know, trying to make ends meet. I got a house I'm trying to pay for. I'm renting, you know. I'm worried about roommates and paying bills and all kinds of stuff like that.
And you had a far commute most days.
1 hour, dude. Sometimes if there's traffic, I'll never forget. One time I was trying to make it to my 8 o'clock class. I left at 6 a.m. and still sat in traffic for 45 minutes. Yeah, I have a lot of hatred for I-65 South in particular. But
well, they just recently widened it up.
Yeah, they did. I just really hate that when they were doing all the construction, that was when I was like trying to, you know, finish my final year at Montevallo. Yeah,
you had a lot more on your plate than I did with my Montevallo experience. I really truly lived in the Montevallo bubble for the 4 years that I was in school there, and I finished in 4.5 years. So that half year, I started going up to Birmingham and like experimenting with songwriting and things like that. And I feel like after I graduated from Montevallo, Birmingham is what, you know, helped me learn what I needed to know about being an artist and about communicating through the music and not being too cerebral and impressive about it not being a competition, like realizing that I'm the only person who can create this, and this is what I'm trying to share with the world.
That energy, I feel like, is something that we both kind of focus on, because when I was at Montevallo, man, like, I just didn't care nothing about being better than anybody, because I knew for a fact within my soul that there were some things that I could do that couldn't nobody else amongst my peers do the same way I could. Just like I understood I'm probably never going to be as good as this person at playing Vivaldi or whatever it is. It just is what it is, you know? So, yeah. I
remember my voice teacher said my voice was made for Mozart.
Oh, my God.
And she was, at the time, seemed like upset that I wasn't considering going to, like, graduate school and pursuing that whole path of competing for a role for the rest of my life. And, you know, some people are meant for that.
Yeah.
Some people are meant to birth into this world new creations, and I think that's what we bonded over at Montevallo.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. See, here's the difference, though. You were kind of like a prized golden child at Montevallo. Like, everybody had huge hopes.
I was a kiss ass.
Everybody,
they put a lot of expectations on me.
I was the stepchild that's getting beat every other day. Didn't nobody care if I showed up or not. I was like man, listen, when I tell you, I
got the scholarship and you got the bill.
Yeah. They were so glad to get me up out of there, man.
Dang.
But at the same time, I was a problem. Like, I would skip class to go to the computer lab and make beats and then go sell them to my homies. Like, that's what I was doing. It's like I'm skipping theory and I'm going up to the computer lab and I'm making trap beats. Like, that was the student I was. And then my professor would be like, Cash, where you at? I'd be like, what you mean? What does it matter? What does that have to do with anything? You know? Because, like
I'm here to do music, aren't I?
I was already, like, grown, so couldn't nobody, like, guilt trip me into doing anything. Couldn't nobody make me feel no type of way. Like, I understood what I needed.
See, you let go of that in your life a lot sooner than I did.
Well, not necessarily, because I remember, like, early on, there was a semester where I, like, really, like, hunkered down to get all A's, you know? And I was missing work. I was sacrificing on all angles. And I remember I got, like, all A's, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. And so ever since that semester, I was like, I am going to calculate exactly what I need to do to get C's, and I'm going to live my life. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty much my attitude from that point forward. And I ain't got no regrets, because once they give you the degree, it don't say whether or not you made A's, you know, in the semester of fall 2018. No, it just says University of Montevallo. So here we are. Yeah. That's a good place to wrap up.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a good place to wrap up.
We're headed out to the open bottle
yeah.
in Madison, Alabama. By the time you hear this, it won't matter because we will have played the gig like several weeks before. But, you know, it's what's happening in this very moment that we are capturing our first ever podcast episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll be back next time. We're going to talk about our music. We're going to talk about other people's music. We're going to talk
we
about
got lots to talk about.
Geographical features. Now you know a little bit about us. Let us know a little bit about you. We'll find out some way to get you to contact us.
I'm sorry. I can't help myself.
Yay. We're going to be selling bandanas. And you're definitely going to want one.
Yeah, we are. The next bandana design is going to have roaches on them. If you see me out in person, ask me why.
Hey. All right.
Yeah. Stick a fork in that thing, man.